What's going on, guys? I'm Shane and welcome to Spare Change. If you're an audio and video enthusiast and want to keep up with the latest AV tech and highest quality movies, consider becoming a subscriber for new weekly content. In for review, we have Mission Impossible Fallout on 4K Blu-ray. I won't be spoiling any plot details. I'm just going to share with you some of my thoughts on the video and audio quality. Let's get into some tech specs. The movie was shot on 35mm, 8K, and IMAX. It's got a 4K DI, it's rated PG-13. Runtime is 147 minutes. Aspect ratio is 239:1 and switches to 190:1 IMAX. So you'll have black bars and some full screen shots. Alright, image quality in this I thought was very good. It was shot on film, so you can expect a very fine layer of grain. It's very light and sometimes you don't even notice it. There's also some shots that do have that film softness, so you shouldn't go into this expecting a totally clean 4K crisp image. That being said, I thought sharpness and clarity was cleaner and tighter over the standard Blu-ray. I didn't think there was a drastic improvement in detail over the 1080p version, but there is a difference nonetheless. Those close-up shots on Cruise's face revealed all his fine lines and stubble, and I gotta say, he's starting to look his age in this one. Material textures on clothing are more refined, with stitching on jackets and suits that are rendered cleanly as well. Now those IMAX shots I thought were the best looking in the film, with an even more cleaner, sharper, and detailed picture. I think there's around 10 to 15 minutes of IMAX, so there isn't a ton of it. Separation among background, middle, and foreground layers had excellent spacing, which gave the presentation some very nice depth. HDR usage here brings out some better saturation and richness to the color palette, which gives the image a natural warmth. Spectral highlights had a nice, bright, clean shine seen in those many lens flares throughout the movie, although there were some highlights that seemed a little overcooked, like those lights in the tunnel in Chapter 1. Black levels looked great during the halo jump in Chapter 3, with shadow detail clearly visible, with some nice color transitions from grays to blacks.
Perhaps I didn't make myself clear.
Audio is in Dolby Atmos, and I thought it was moderately active in the height channels. I found there was mostly ambiance and some music that would find its way up top, with a handful of discrete effects going up to the height speakers. There was a passing train in Chapter 7 that echoed in the overheads, as well as some chopper flyovers. The helicopter chase in Chapter 14 was the standout here, with chopper blades spinning around the room and some solid movement among the lower channels. The motorcycle chase in Chapter 6 is another great sequence, with traffic moving around the listening area, backed up by the excellent sounding musical score. Bass response had some good impact, but I did think response could have gone a lot lower and hit harder. But it was still adequate, just not what I would call demo worthy. Although those punches and kicks in the bathroom scene was kinda awesome sounding. As mentioned before, I think the musical score was a highlight of this Atmos mix, which I found detailed with a nice spread across the front channels that expanded to the top speakers. Dialogue sounded clear and intelligible without any issues. So for audio, I'm gonna go with an 8. I didn't find overhead channels all that active, but they did kick in whenever something was meant to be up there. Surround movement was great among the lower speakers, and the musical score really heightened the tension of the movie. For video, I'm gonna go with an 8.7. I think this is the best looking movie in the franchise, and those IMAX scenes looked fantastic. There's some very light grain in this, but I think it really gives the movie a great cinematic feel, especially when you're viewing on a larger screen. Again, this isn't a crisp and ultra sharp 4K presentation, but I think you'll find enough great scenes to show off your 4K display. Now, if you're interested in grabbing this movie, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, I'll leave some links down below in the description. It helps out the channel by using those links, which helps us bring you more content like this. Leave us a comment and tell us if you thought Fallout was the best in the series. Check us out on social media, and if you want to support the channel, check out our Patreon page. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys again in the next one.